We trot her out as the example, best example of caring that one could possibly give, but now she has found herself in a new role. She is, in fact, heading a program that does the things that she taught other people to do, and I would ask her to come up here to give the outstanding service.
Welcome to each and every one of you. It's so good to see everybody here today. We're all family here, so it's such a wonderful thing. I'm here to give the Outstanding Service Award to one of the most wonderful women I know. Let me tell you a little bit about this lady. She's one of those ladies who's a pioneer. She's an advocate for all parents, grandparents, cousins, uncles. She doesn't mind going that extra mile. She also is working in the Board of Education. She also goes around and have different things going on in the community to help, like Thanksgiving is coming up now. And it's time to start feeding those families. So she's making sure that they have baskets and things set aside for them. She's making sure also that there's other things that's going on because Christmas is going to be coming around soon. And she's making sure that those things are in place because we don't have enough funding to be able to feed everybody. So what we do is try to get something for each and every one that we can. So maybe we may be able to get, we put out these different homes, ask different people to give in order that they may be able to give to someone else. In other words, we like taking care of each other. And that's what this lady does. She's been taking care of everybody. And even though at this time in her life, she's lost one of her loved ones, one of her children, and she still didn't stop giving. She still walks around with a smile on her face. She still continues to give and pour herself out, even though they don't know what happened and why it happened. But we know that all things work together for the good, for those that love the Lord. And we know that this is something that's for the good. And out of it will good come. So now she's going and she's getting things set up. So it might not even surprise any of us to know that she's going to be calling on us, that we may be able to help to feed somebody else. This wonderful woman I'm talking about is Mrs. Carolyn Jackson. We didn't know how to do these caregiving things, even though we have it in our nurture and stuff, but still this lady was a foundation. She was one of the ones that started it. So we're thanking God for her, and we want to just bless her.
Good evening, everyone. Well, first of all, just let me thank you for even thinking of me to give me this award, because actually, I'm just standing here representing all of you. Love you too. All the grandparents, all the lawyers, all the judges, even the service providers that are feeding us here. We're all doing a service. And we're all here representing each other. The theme tonight that I keep hearing is if we can help someone along the way. And for many of you, hey sweetie, you've been doing it for many years. I mean, we're all working together. This year we celebrate our 10th year, Grandparents on the Move. And it's not just me, it's all of us. I couldn't do it by myself. Everybody had to pull together. And now there are many great groups working together, working for the same goal, and that is to help each other. Thank you so much for all that you do, for standing by us, especially to the lawyers and to the judges that hear us when we come. Sometimes it's the hardest thing that we have to do. But thank you for the kindness and what you say and what you do. And thank you for listening. And thank you for helping our children. Thank you.
I also must add that she's been the founder of Grandparents on the Move, and she's the president of that Grandparents on the Move. She's been there all this time. But we want to give her this Outstanding Service Award. I just want to read it off to you. Carolyn Jackson, in appreciation for 10 years of underlodging and loyal and service to grandparents on the move, and outpouring out help to guardians in city and countrywide. Probate Court Kinship Fund, October 16, 2008.
I'd like for all my daughters to stand. Those are my two biological daughters. Now all my other daughters, y'all stand too. My mother and father are here tonight. I'd like them to stand. My two great aunts. No, I take that back. My great aunt and me. My aunt and uncle. My extended family, Carla, Betty, Aunt Frances. And one of the most greatest supporters there is, and we call it a diva. The diva. Stand, diva. That's my grandbaby godmother. Thank you all for coming. And to Grandparents on the Move, love you. Thank you. Can I do one last acknowledgement? And that's to Emma and Judge Keys, who makes this happen every year and who supports all of us. And sometimes for all the ones that aren't here tonight, thank you.
You got your sisters?
Oh.
Or sisters?
Oh, I'm so sorry.
All of the sisters.
All of my sisters, they're going to kill me when I get
All right, all Carolyn sisters, please stand up. As I said before, one of the definitions of kinship is close connection. Nobody has more of a close connection to this program or to the needs of the people in New Haven than my good friend, State Senator Martin Looney, who will introduce the next honoree.
Thank you so much, Mike. This is always an extraordinary event and provides some relief. There'll be a little alteration in the program. It won't be quite as long as the printed program seems, because I'll be introducing the main speaker rather than giving that speech myself, so we'll be condensing the program a little bit. But first of all, I wanted to mention that this year will mark the 10th anniversary of the passing of Judge Thomas F. Keys, Jr., the man for whom this grant and kinship program were named. And he was, as we all know, and as Mike Whalen mentioned, a beloved figure in New Haven, whose portrait hangs in the Regional Children's Probate Court. And Judge Tom Keys was the probate judge in New Haven for 11 years before his son Jack succeeded him when Judge Keys retired. And people who received the nurturing care from Judge Tom Keys, now somebody who might have been a troubled teenager in 1974, might herself now be a grandmother who is providing services in the court now a generation and a half later. So what we see is that his good work is being carried forward. When Judge Keys was probate judge, Jack would sometimes kid him and say, "Dad, what'd you do all day? Just sit in the probate court drinking coffee?" And the judge would say, "Wait till you get there. You'll see what it really is." And when Jack succeeded his father, one day he was sitting in there, and there was an elderly woman who had had several dealings in the court, came in and sat down, and the clerk said, "We'll get Judge Keys for you." And Jack came in, and she said, "No, I don't want you. I want the real Judge Keys." But over 23 years, we know Jack has become the real Judge Keyes. But what the program does, as we all know, it is one of the most nurturing programs that anyone could ever imagine. And the person who I'm going to present an award to had more than anyone else to do with the creation and nurturing of these programs and providing leadership for the probate system. Judge Jim Lawler, as Chief Probate Administrator for nearly a decade, has undertaken more creative reforms in that system than had been seen in the entire history of the probate system going back to the 17th century. And he, when Jack came to him with the idea of doing something especially for children with the Children's Probate Court, Judge Lawler, as head of the system, provided that leadership. He has nurtured the Children's Probate Court in New Haven. It has expanded into other regions of the state and is now a model for the country. As we all know, a national award for innovative government practice was given just a year ago to the Regional Children's Probate Fund. So we know that Judge Lawler has been a visionary. He has been a visionary in terms of providing better services in the probate systems in the state. He's also acknowledged the difficulties in the probate system statewide and undertook an effort to try to reform them, because not all probate courts in the state, as we know, are as well run as New Haven or the Regional Children's Probate Court or Judge Frank Forgione's court in North Branford or Judge Brant's in North Haven. Unfortunately, there are other parts of the state where the system is not functioning as well. And there are waste and the need for consolidation that has been severely resisted. But Judge Lawler has taken on that difficult challenge. He has been a visionary, he's been a leader, he's been a reformer. All of us, I think, need to thank him for that service, and I'm so pleased to present this award to him this evening and to introduce him as our main speaker. Thank you. This award, this plaque says, Groundbreaking Leadership Award to the Honorable James J. Lawler. In recognition of your innovative accomplishments, thank you for giving above and beyond to benefit the probate court system. From the Probate Court Kinship Fund, October 16, 2008. Judge Lawler. Thank you again. As my colleague Tony Harp said, I wanted to thank all of you here who helped me qualify for the public funding also in this brave new world of campaign finance. And now it is my great pleasure to introduce the great former probate chief administrator, Judge James Lawler, our honored speaker this evening. Thank you, Judge Lawler.
Talk about the little girl who had had some problems and came to the court. My experience that got this started in my mind was much the same. I had taken 2 children away from their mother, which is for the person who's doing it, is a horrendous thing. It's just something you don't want to have to face. But in this case, I had done it, and it wasn't long after that I met the lady on the street, and I didn't want to meet her on the street. But she was very kind, and she said to me, I said, "How are you doing?" And she said, "Well, I'm working in the donut shop. I've got a job. I've gotten out of rehab." And she went on to tell me that she had found an apartment, and it had a couple bedrooms, one for each of her children. Time went on, and I saw her again and again, and each time I saw her, she told me a little bit more about how she's progressing on this. Of course, the children still weren't back with her at this point, and I knew that someday I was going to have to see them. At a point, I said to her, "Are you getting any courses in the parenting skills?" And she kind of looked, and I said, well, what's the matter? And she said, I make $150 a week working, and the parenting skills courses cost $125. You know, eventually the children went back with her because she had done it right. But the things that struck me is, after having gone so far and so long, and being in a position so much for these kids, what's going to happen when she has a bad day? We all have a bad day. Everyone has a bad day, and you need a little bit more help. And that's really all of the, we didn't have the children's court at the time, but that's in its simplest terms, that's what we do with the children's court. We provide the ability, one concept is we catch them when they're young. Let's get them when they're 5 years old, and if they can't read when they're 5 years old, let's not wait until they're 15 to teach them. First, it's tougher, and second, they're going to lose 10 years of good opportunity to know about history and science and all of the other subjects that require reading. So even if you take a child at 15 and teach them to read, they've already missed so much of this. And so let's get them when they're young. And then when they're young, they have aunts and uncles and grandparents. We're all going to help them. To help them when they're 5. When they're 15 and they're really gone off the beam, it's tough to get people to do it. And at that point, what happens is DCF is around looking for foster parents and all these things. Well, let's get them when they're 5 and help the grandparents and help the aunts and the uncles and get it done. And that's really all the concept was with the children's court. I sat down early on with Jack Keys and a couple of the other judges, and some of the other judges said, well, I don't know. Jack said, never mind, we're gonna do this. And fortunately, we were in New Haven. I knew Jack, and I knew something about New Haven. We often talked politics and talked about the things that were happening here, but it was then that I learned of so many judges in this area who were willing to make a commitment and to take a chance. You know, it was okay for me to take a chance, but you can't take a chance alone. One thing I've said about government is they don't reward you for making mistakes. I believe that when a person takes a chance and makes an error, they should be complimented. I believe that you should take them aside and reward them, because if they don't take a chance, then they'll never do anything that's new and different. Let's reward them for taking a chance and failing, so they'll go out and do it again, and after a matter of time, they'll eventually come up with it right. And that's what we did in New Haven. And you know, it's not just the judges, but it's all the people in these rooms. We had every element covered. We had committed people. The aunts and uncles and grandmothers and the kids themselves pitched in and worked at bettering themselves and making a better life for themselves. So my comment here tonight is the New Haven for me has been the greatest reward, and I skipped over the most important element, is the legislators who also took a chance. You know, we started this thing in November or December, and when I talked to some legislators about it, they said that's going to take years. Well, we got the bills passed, and Senator Looney and Senator Hart don't know it, but we got the bills passed in June, and we had the place running in July because we had already rented the space. We started building it. I said, at one point it looked pretty bleak, and I said to myself, my God, where's this thing going to end up? But someone said it before, God wanted this thing to happen. God put all of the elements in together, and the legislators and everything happened. It happened right. And it was from that we were able to get on and get into other things, in London and Willimantic and Waterbury and Meriden, and it's going to grow further. The legislature has authorized 7, and we've got 5 of them, and when we get the 7th, the 6th and the 7th, we'll have 70% of the kids who appear before the probate courts, 70% of them under the guidance of this system. So we've got a little way to go. And I have every confidence that we'll get there, and I look forward to seeing a lot of you in the future, because I was thinking of Joe the plumber, you know. I'm thinking of things that I could do. Maybe I could be a stand-in for Joe the plumber. I told my wife that. She wants to know every morning, what are you going to do? We watched the debate last night. I said, I know, I can be a stand-in for Joe the plumber and maybe help Barack Obama with the election. She said, well, you're not a plumber. I said, well, neither is he. And besides, he hasn't got a job and I haven't got a job, so we got a lot in common. So, I don't know what got us into that. Thank
you. Emma gets nervous. Jack has a heart attack. Things aren't going good. People are hungry. You're gonna eat. You're gonna eat. Emma told me you're gonna eat. She also told me that Jack won't get up or say anything, and I said, I don't really care what Jack wants to do. I knew Jack before he was born, for God's sake. I'm the godfather to his kids, and he's the godfather to my kids. But he doesn't want to stand up. I don't care. The hell with him. Let's face it, he put this stuff together. He's the main man. He's the guy. Yeah, he probably won't want. I'm sorry. Sunday afternoon, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, middle of August, bright sunshine day. You call 946-4880. He picks up the phone. There's something wrong with that guy. But I think he does deserve his round of applause. Let's give it to him. Come on, Jackie, show your fat ass.